place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken. If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken.
And shalom, good day to everyone. We're glad to have you. This is yours truly, the Apostle V.W. Jones Sr., right here on the Proceeding Word. A joy and a pleasure it is always to come before you with the word of Elohim and share what we know as a way to live life as it were. Somebody ping Elder Rogers in this room now. This broadcast is because of her. She needs to be here. All right, let's go. So, moderators, would y'all do us a favor, please, and make sure that everyone gets their appropriate microphones. And well, it looks like we're going to be by ourselves today. Okay. Well, anyone who's with us today, Doreen, good to have you. Doreen, both Doreen, good to have you guys with us. To all of our leaders and elders, we're grateful to Yahweh for your life, your help, your hope, and for your life, His help and His strength in your life. All right. So those of you who are viewing on the broadcast, I want to need you to go ahead and hit that heart sign and like sign. Make that work for us today as we can get our rhythm and our algorithm, as we like to say, going. We have had some complications within our platform, but we're going to get that figured out. You should know me by now. And let's get moving. I'm going to take a word of prayer first, and then we're going to get right into our broadcast. I'm hoping that all of you who are viewing with us would make it your business to hit the heart sign, hit the like sign, make your comments. And we need y'all to hit the heart sign. Don't just tune in, but hit the heart sign, hit the like sign. Help us as we, I pray, are helping you with the sharing and the teaching of the words of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. Can I get a little bit of help with that? I'd greatly appreciate it. Those of you on YouTube, we ask you to do the same. Hit like, comment, and share. I think I did it right. Woohoo! First time, I think I did it right. No help was needed. Moderators, don't hate, appreciate. Yes, that does not mean I don't need y'all. It's just that I'm learning how to do some of this stuff by myself. And I think we need to be self-sufficient, which is why we came to this broadcast. So we need to find Elder Rogers. Somebody to ping her in now. Find her. I'm putting everybody out. There's a bolo out on Elder Rogers' head. There's a reward of, well, a pay attention account. That's the awards. 10,000 pay attentions for the find and the capture of Elder Cheryl Rogers. All right, everybody, let's get started. And we're going to take this moment to pray even now at this moment. Father, we come before you, thanking you for the grace, the power, the spirit, the praise of you, believing and trusting in you that all things from you should be as they need to be. To you be glory, to you be honor, to you be dominion, to you be might, to you be power, both now and forever. We are here with you. We are here in you. And today we decrease that you would increase in our very lives. Give us this word. Give us an opportunity to know you in the greatness of who you are and why you are in our lives. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of you, Yahweh, our Elohim, by giving us Adonai, hallelujah, the Holy One, the Lamb of Elohim, the shepherd of our lives. We acknowledge the greatness of this transaction, and we give you all that we can to honor him, knowing you raised him from the dead, and he sits in your right hand making intercession for us. We will bless you forevermore. To you be glory, to you be honor, to you be dominion, to you be might, and to you be power, both now and forever. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we all say, and we all pray, Amen. Okay, well, we're going to be talking today about a few things. Do I have a moderator that can help me with announcements today? Anybody free? All righty. Who's that?
Shabbat Shalom, Minister Jackie.
Hey, Minister Jackie, would you help us with the announcements? I'd really appreciate it.
Yes. Shabbat Shalom to you. Thank you all for being here with us today on the preceding word. The topic for today is wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You're going to learn today. If you haven't done so already, take the opportunity to ping somebody in this room. If you also click on Apostle's profile, that will give you the opportunity to follow him. Don't forget, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join us for our Sabbath studies, which commence at Friday at 11 p.m. as we open up for our Midrash studies, and we'll continue those studies on Saturday at 11 a.m., where we're looking at the How to Sabbath. We want to extend an invitation for you to join us every Sunday for our morrow after Sabbath service, as we open up for our Sabbath after, as we open up for our morrow after Sabbath service that starts at 10:15 a.m. every Sunday morning, where we broadcast live through Facebook and extend the invitation for you to join us here through Clubhouse, YouTube, Instagram, and also don't forget Facebook, where you'll find us at VWJ Ministries. Don't forget, we're here every Wednesday for our weekly Bible study. We commence at 7 p.m. and you'll find us here under Jerash Kingdom Ministries, and Thursday at 7 p.m. as we open up for our weekly Bible study, as we are continuing into Genesis 19 and hopefully moving on to Genesis 20. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Apostle, back to you.
Well, thank you so very much, Minister Jackie, and we are blessing Yahweh for you. We speak Shabbat Shalom over your entire life and your family's life as well. And to those of you who are with us today, we're asking that you would remember that Sabbath kicks in at about whatever time sundown is in your region, in your area. And once Sabbath kicks in, we start getting into our download for the Torah. And we're waiting for every new opportunity to help to get our understanding of our relationship as a kingdom believer better solidified. And so we find that we love him, we adore him, and every Sabbath we get the Torah loaded into our systems and into our psyches, and we're looking for greater and better things each and every solitary week, looking and waiting for Yahweh to speak to us. So if you're on broadcast with us today, we want you to get ready for this part of what we call the proceeding word. Now, we had a program for this week, and I sort of kind of jumped a teaching I had scheduled for you to do a dovetail on what we were speaking about earlier in the week. And that was, one, just be you. And two, what was that broadcast we just did? Man, see, I forgot what it was. Anybody remember what we talked about on Wednesday on the proceeding word? Nobody? What was our broadcast?
Psalms 139.
It was Psalms 139, exactly. And what was the title? Anybody remember?
Yes, the next big thing.
It's called the next big thing. And from the just be you mindset and the next big thing concept or conversation, a question came out regarding a man in the book of Matthew, chapter number 10. That question came from one of our elders, Elder Cheryl Rogers. And at that moment, I just made the decision to say, you know what? Let's just make that an extension for this week, and I'll teach what I was going to teach today next week. So here's the catch. When we were talking about just be you, stop trying to be someone that you're not. You are wonderfully and fearfully made, and you, based on Psalms 139, are clearly a creation and a designer's. You are the designer original. Can everybody say that? Can everybody type it in and say, I am the, I think you should capitalize the, I am the designer's original. Can y'all type that in? Let's get the atmosphere going, starting Sabbath, and let Yahweh know we're expecting.
I am the designer's original. Hallelujah.
That's right. It is a hallelujah behind that, because I am the designer's original. I have no doubt who I am. And that's what we were talking about when we started this series. And I'm not stalling, but I'm hoping that Elder Rogers can get here so this question can be dealt with that she has raised on our platform. So I'm going to share some information with you about Psalms 133. And next time I'm going to need you present and in place when things be slowing up. You're supposed to be here. I don't care that I'm a half hour late with the broadcast. You're supposed to be in here 5 minutes to 12:22. I don't know what that means, but we're just going to go with it. All right. So
I was there at that time too.
Forget that I'm a half hour late. I don't care. All right. So here's the catch. Psalms 139 says, "Oh Yahweh," Psalms 139 verse 1. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, please hit the heart sign, y'all. Please hit the heart sign, hit the like sign. All right. And I want to make sure that you all will look to subscribe to us too. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube page. Man, I don't like this. I like I'm begging. Well, we have a YouTube page. And if you like what we do and you're on YouTube more frequently, easier than Facebook, some of you say, go to our YouTube page and subscribe. That advertisement is officially now done. Let's get into the word. Psalms 139. This is what happened. This is how we got here. Yahweh, you've created me. You've searched me. You know me. Verse 2, you know my down sitting. You know my uprising. You understand my thoughts afar off. You compasseth my path and my lying down, and you are acquainted with all of my ways, for there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, Yahweh, you know them all together. Thou hast beset me behind and before me. You have laid your hand upon me. Somebody say hallelujah. Say, lay your hands on me, Yahweh.
Amen. Lay your hands on me. Hallelujah. Yahweh.
Yeah, I need you to get that straight, because some of you, I don't want everybody just saying lay your hands on me, because you know the Bible says lay hands on no man suddenly. But I am saying to say this. Everybody say lay your hands on me, Yahweh. Because I don't want Jimmy Bob and Clarice and love you and everybody else doing that. So yeah, come on, one more time. Let's go. Say lay your hands on me, Yahweh.
Lay your hands on me, Yahweh. Hallelujah.
There we go. Because everybody laying hands on you ain't a good thing. So that's what we know for a physact. So now he says in verse number 5, you have beset me behind and before. You laid your hand on me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. Who is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that you visit him? Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. Whither shall I go from your presence? If I go and I fly from your presence, I flee from your presence, you're going to be there. If I ascend, verse 8, if I ascend up into the heavens, you're with me there. If I make my bed in hell, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and I dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall your hand lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yeah. Darkness does not hide from you, Yahweh, but the night shines as the day, and the darkness and the light in your presence, Elohim, are alike. For you possess my range. You've covered me in my mother's womb. Because of that, I will praise you, Yahweh. Hallelujah. For I am fearfully, I am wonderfully, I am made wonderfully, and I am marvelous are your works. I am a marvelous work of your hand, and that my soul. I know sometimes I forget that you have made me wonderfully. I forget that you have made me reverently. I forget that you have made me a marvelous work. But now today I'm reminding myself that my soul knows it right well by the fact that you are my creator. My substance was not hid from you. When I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth, your eyes did see my substance. Yet being unperfect. Woo! Somebody say I'm unperfect. Somebody say I'm unperfect. Say it. Say I'm unperfect.
I'm unperfect.
I'm imperfect.
But yet you have me in your book. And in your book, all of my members are written, which in continuance were fashioned. Verse 16. When as yet there was none of them. How precious also are your thoughts about me, Yahweh. I don't think they caught it. I'm going to say it again. How precious, Yahweh, are your thoughts about me, Elohim. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, there are more in number than the sand. If I should count the thoughts Yahweh has towards me, if you should count the thoughts that Elohim has towards you, you must understand they would be more than the sand. Every moment I awake, it means I am still with you.
Amen.
That's why y'all need to remember what it looks like when we mess up and we err. If Yahweh didn't kill you in your junk, the fact that you woke up, you still have a chance to remain with him in the light of life. And that's what's going to bring us to this idea and conversation that Elder Rogers sort of kind of extends our weekly preceding word with regard to. Somebody say, I'm a child of light.
I'm a child of light.
I'm a child of light. I'm a child of light.
Mm-hmm. Well, he told me to say I'm perfect. Now you want to say I'm a child of the light. Now you want to say lay hands on me, Yahweh. What you want me to say next? The word, because that's how you live. Now, I want us to make that decree. Come on, Facebook. Come on, YouTube. Type it in. I am a child of light, his light. I'm a child of the light. And that's an important thing because Elder Rogers brought a question up while we were talking on Monday and on Wednesday from the preceding word segments that we've had this past week. We were realizing that I got to always just be me. Why? Because Psalms 139 says Yahweh made me in private. He made me in the lower parts of the earth. He had me covered since I was in my mother's womb. Somebody say he made me in secret. Come on. Woo, glory. I might not make it. He made me in secret. It's funny how everybody think they know you, but don't even know where you come from. I can't get this out yet, Yahweh. It's Friday. I might have too much fun with this. People think they know you, but they don't know you. Tell them when they see you in the streets, remember, you don't know me. I was made in the darkness. I was in my mother's womb. And unless I got a twin that came out that womb with me, don't nobody else out here know me. Not even my mother knows me. Not even my daddy, whose seed I am, knows me. When Yahweh made me, he covered me in my mother's womb. He made me in the lower parts of the earth. He made me in secret, and he curiously made who I am. You don't know me. You don't know me. And I don't care what you saw me do, how you heard me say it, what I left in my wake. You don't know me. And he lets me wake up every morning. He got something more for me to do in spite of the trail that I left. In spite of the carnage that I created, in spite of the drama that I was a part of, you still don't know me. You may know what I participated in, but baby, you don't know me. I was made in secret. Don't act like you know. I was made wondrously. I might not manifest the wonder in me. I might not manifest the marvelousness in me. I might not manifest the righteousness all the time in me. But baby, don't get it twisted. You don't know me. I wish I could tell somebody need to say, listen, 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 principalities and powers and rulers of darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. You may have got me to play the kissing game. You might have got me to play the lying game. You may have got me to play all these other games, but you don't really know me. Just like Satan did not know who Yeshua was. He had to say, if you be the Son of God, be like these other people. If you really the Messiah, turn this stone into some bread. That'll prove to me you are the Messiah. But baby, you don't have to prove to anybody who you are. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what drugs you took. I don't care what relationships you got into. I don't care what scams you was. I don't care what you've been, where you come from. They don't know you. Yahweh secretly, marvelously, and curiously wrought you. You might not manifest everything he desired in your life and your creation, but the fact that you're still breathing, the fact that you woke up, the fact that you are still awake, you are still with him, and he can redeem the days of your youth. I wish I had somebody to get excited about that. You don't know me. Remember, when you see me in the streets, you don't know me. You see what I'm wearing. You see the designer's clothes that I bought from the fashion show at Milan and the fashion show in Paris and the fashion show in Japan and the fashion show in LA and the fashion show in Atlanta. But baby, just because I got those clothes on, you don't really know me. That's just a throw. That's just a shawl. That's just a dress, an adornment. But the real me, you don't see yet. Yahweh made me curiously, and he wrought me with purpose.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
So what Yahweh wants you to know is that verse 16 says, listen, look at verse 15 of Psalms 139, because we're going to get to the reason why we're here, wise as a serpent. He says, my substance was not hid from you, Yahweh, when you made me in secret. Verse 15, look at that. Look at that. I'm going to put it on the screen for y'all so you can see it. My substance, everything inside of me. That word substance in the Hebrew is the word 86108. And that word in proper thing is the ostim. And it means my power, my body, my might, my substance. My substance and my body and my might was not, listen, it was not hid from you. You knew everything about me. Somebody say, he knows me.
He knows me.
See, some of y'all are so worried about other people getting to know you. Some of y'all are so worried about other people knowing who you are and wondering what you do and trying to get with them and be like them. And that's what we talked about before. You trying to get in their circle so they can know who you are, what you do, what you produce, what you provide, how you rock, how you get down. And you worry about the wrong person knowing you. He knows me, and I need to know that he knows me no matter what I did. I misstepped. He still knows me. See, this is where we misconstrue that part that says God knows my heart. That's a problem because that's a two-edged sword. He does know your heart. He knows that you are wicked. He knows your substance. He knows that you can lie. He knows that you can steal. He knows that you can do whatever you want to do. He knows you're disobedient. He knows you're lackadaisical. See, my substance is not hid from him. Thank you for knowing who I am and then not killing me in what I do. I just need about 20 amens right there.
Hallelujah and amen. Hallelujah.
See, we get afraid to talk like that because we think we are making proclamations. If you don't make the proclamation, you don't get it out in the atmosphere. So Ruach can hasten to you and help you with your proclamation. Well, I'm not going to say I'm unperfect. David did. I'm not going to say I got issues. David did. And yet he's the friend of Elohim. How's that going for you? Are we his friend? Are we after his own heart? I can't get nobody to work with me today. I got to get this done. I only got one last day to work. I got 6 days to work, and I'm coming out of my 6th day. I'm about to go into my 7th day, so I'm gonna work it while I can work it. Work while you can work it. Work. Listen, you gotta know that Yahweh already knows who you are, what you about, where you are. He sees what you do. He sees how you respond. He already knows the direction you're gonna go. He didn't predestine for you to make the mistakes. He predestined for you to stay in righteousness, but he saw you step out of righteousness and still sits there holding his hands toward you, hoping you won't make the choice he already knows you're going to make. That's why David says, your thoughts are precious concerning me. Every day I awake. This is why when I wake up, y'all, I say hallelujah. Because it gives me a chance to introspect. And in this Sabbath coming up, we should all be in introspection. Amen. Talking about, Yahweh, what did I do wrong this week and you let me live through? Ha! Woo! Just because you ain't go out and do the obvious sins and became lewd and was, wild and out. Just because you didn't do all the obvious sins of this world don't mean that you shouldn't be asking Yahweh, what did I do wrong that displeased you? And you let me live through. See, people act like they know you because of what you did. Yahweh knows you because he made you. And it doesn't mean that he will pardon you. It means that when you come to him acknowledging and humbling yourself to him, he will literally pardon you. He says, if you come to me, I won't cast you out. He didn't say you can come to me if you didn't kill 80 people. He didn't say you can come to me if you wasn't, all over around the way girl. He didn't say you can come to me as long as you wasn't a New Jack City boy. He didn't say you can come to me as long as you didn't hijack cars. He didn't say you can come to me as long as you didn't commit genocide by selling drugs in your neighborhood. He didn't say. He said, whoever comes to me, I'll in no wise cast out. I wish I can get some folk to get on this tip today. He says, whoever you are. He didn't say you can come to me just because you got a collar on your neck and you are all over a ministry, and you are in ministry, and you are teaching about who I am, and you got your cloth and you got your pectoral cross under your pec, and you got your rope on, and you got your little ministering towel with your lace all around it, and you got your church hat on. He didn't say you can come to me just because you are a Christian, just because you are somebody who believes in the Bible. He says, whosoever comes unto me, I will in no wise cast out. Verse 17 says, your thoughts about me are precious. You know why thoughts about me are precious? Oh, I lost half the group. The group then just left off the platform. This is where church gets to it. Listen, he says, you know why your thoughts are precious towards me? Because the thoughts of others about me are completely contrary to where you see me. And if you come unto me, whosoever you are, I will in no wise cast you out. Now, getting back to just being you, getting back to being wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You got to know who you are first. You got to know that he knows who you are. And no matter how many images you and I try to put forward, Yahweh still knows what he made. Wow. Make that a quote. No matter how many images you try to put forward, Yahweh still knows what he made when he made you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get y'all amped up and hyped up all early and then let y'all down so easy. Because now that we got you thinking, now that we got you a little bit encouraged, let's get into the broadcast. Watch this now. Because I'm sorry, because half our broadcast just left us. But look at this. Here's what we got. And this is where it's going to be fun. He says that my heart is overwhelmed by the goodness you have towards me, Yahweh. You know my substance. You know my imperfectness. Even in my imperfect state, you still created my members. You still put my fingers and my toes and my hands and my ears and my ribs together. Even in my imperfect state, being made by the perfect creator. I'm going to praise you for that because I'm fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. All right. So then we talked about that. Now we got into a conversation. Elder Rogers, you're going to come on and help us with this, because as we were talking about this, we then went into another day while we were waiting Wednesday's broadcast was us waiting for the next big thing. Well, what is the next big thing? Well, we don't really know because we never acknowledge him in all our ways, so he can tell us what the next big thing should be for us. Instead, we're finding what everybody else says is a trend. We're jumping on that trend. We're jumping on that viral path. We're jumping on whatever seems to be popping and popular, whatever gives us digital currency, whatever puts us in a situation where we can be influencers, we can be supposed gurus, and now we can find ourselves as needing coaching, getting coaching, and this whole coach phase. This scares. I tell you what, this whole coaching phase that is taking over the world, I ain't mad at nobody for making their money. I ain't mad at nobody for being on their grind. But here is where I have a major problem. This whole coaching phase of people, and everybody has a voice. Everybody is a minister. Everybody is a servant. It's not a problem for me that we're doing it. The issue is it scares the hell out of me the way that we're doing it. And I guess scaring the hell out of me is a good thing because I do not intend to go there if I should die before the rapture. And I do not, in fact, want you going there. So because it scares the hell out of me, I'm going to tell you why it scares the hell out of me. And hopefully it'll scare the hell and all of the attributes and all of the proclivities and all of the propensities of hell out of you as well. That's this. Everybody can't speak into your life. And you should not try to duplicate every image you see in the earth. So we're waiting for the next big thing. Who makes money now? Oh, well, you can sell and trade on Amazon. Oh, well, now you can start getting stocks. And oh, well, we get the .com movement. Oh, well, now we got the new Bitcoin movement. Oh, and now we're always waiting for the next big thing. And the idea that I want to push into your mind is that we should not be looking to the world for the next big thing. The world should be looking to those who have the light. The world is in darkness. The light is supposed to be where they're getting ideas of how to come out of their darkness from. But instead, the light is looking to the ideas made in darkness and going over to the dark side to keep their light burning.
Very true.
How are we doing this? So if I'm going to the dark side to get the ideals of darkness, my light will eventually not shine and I'll be in darkness too. My charge I keep to have and a God to glorify. My charge was to keep my light lit. And not under a bushel. So that those in darkness would see the witty inventions of light and come out of darkness into, watch, the marvelous light. But we playing in darkness. Oh, it's going to be dark on everybody's life, but when you are in light and darkness should come, the darkness never overpowers the light, because even in Elohim, darkness and light, you can see the same way. But when you go to darkness to sustain yourself in light, that becomes a problem. You can't take out of darkness something to keep you light and give you life. But if darkness should come and compel, come and try to overtake, because it's going to rain on the just as well as the unjust. When darkness comes, because every day you're going to get 12 hours of darkness, thereabouts, and 12 hours of day. 2 12s make 24. That's your day. So darkness is going to come, but you don't wait for darkness to win and come up. So what they doing in the dark is keeping them in the dark. So when we get these ideas of how we should be winning, our ideas shouldn't be coming from darkness. And we're waiting on the next big thing to evolve from out of the shadows. And then we look at it and then we light it up. We come near it and light it up. And then it comes in takes this 15 minutes of fame, has this time under the lights, and then it fizzles out. Why? Because it's coming from darkness. The only thing in darkness is death. You can keep a corpse breathing and electric flowing through his head and blood flowing through his heart by artificial technology for life, a life support system. But if the soul of that thing is gone, it's a cadaver functioning. And if we don't pay attention to that, we lose the point. All right. Listen to this. Elder Rogers, you had a question earlier this week. I'm going to ask you to come on and talk about it so I can move off of this because this is what started it. Y'all didn't like the cadaver statement?
It was pretty interesting.
It was good. I liked it. Never thought about it that way.
Because we're going into the world to get what the world should be coming to us for.
So true.
And I know that sounds elite, privileged, and some kind of way, you know, it might make you feel a certain kind of way. But at the end of the day, we're supposed to acknowledge him in all of our way. Not a worldly, atheistic, non-Elohim reverent guru. I'm sorry, I'm only for the kingdom. I'm here for the kingdom people. I'm not here for everybody else. I'm here for the kingdom people. And I'll tell you why in a minute. I'll prove it to you in a minute why I'm okay with being here only for the kingdom. I want y'all to yep, get ready to get off mic. Here it comes. This just came straight out of glory. Listen, say I'm only here for the kingdom. You got to say that. You got to say that. I promise you, going into Shabbat, it's going to bless your life. Say, I'm only here for his kingdom. See, because that's a problem for us because we think we're here for every other thing, and Yahweh only put you here for his kingdom. I was created to make Yah's praise glorious. I am only here for the kingdom. And so when I do anything other than the kingdom, I'm putting myself out of my place of provision, provender, influence, and eternal life. I'm only here for the kingdom. I got to remind myself of that. So, Elder Rogers.
Yes, sir.
We were talking about the fact that we were looking for the next big thing to happen. And we're looking for it out in the world. And then we want to bring it back into the church. The world gave us Halloween. So we made a substitution for Halloween and says we're going to have a party night for our children. It'll mimic Halloween.
Hallelujah.
So the children can have safe candy. In a safe place. And we got to worry about razor blades in an apple and cyanide poisoning and roofies in the Snickers bar and injections of this, that, or the other, and viruses and stuff. We can have it in a safe environment so that while the world is doing what they do, we can give an alternative to the world. That hit different, don't it? When you really see what we did. Yahweh didn't give us Thanksgiving. He gave us Sukkah. The world mimicked Sukkah, made it and normalized Thanksgiving as Sukkah. And then we bought it back lock, stock, and barrel and made an alternative to the substitute. Was that too deep for Friday?
That's truth for Friday.
It's good.
Do I need to say that again?
Yes.
The world stole,
Yes.
the world stole Yahweh's commandment, hijacked it, chopped it up like a car stolen out of the streets of Philly and New York and Jersey, where I come from, with Florida and Louisiana, St. Louis, LA, Compton, Maine, Portland, Houston, Dallas, Irvington, Arlington, wherever, the Bay Area, wherever. Chop shop took the car and then cut it all up and sold it off for parts. They took Sukkah, chopped it up, called it Christmas, chopped it up, called it Thanksgiving, chopped it up and called it Halloween, then normalized the chop up, sold it back to us, which we bought at a high premium, lock, stock, and barrel, and then says, we get it, but we're going to make an alternative to this substitution. We're going to make an alternative to the substitution of the original instruction. Was that too deep?
No.
It's true.
No, so that's good.
Do we understand it?
Yes.
Yes.
So we're always looking for the next big thing. Here's my problem. The next big thing should never be a next big thing. You know what the next big thing is? Say, no, Apostle, we don't know what the next big thing is. But Apostle, what's the next big thing?
What's the next big thing, Apostle? I want to know.
What is it, Apostle?
All right. You sure you want to know? Because I got 3 people that want to know.
I want to know.
I said no.
Tell us.
Y'all want to know? Here's the next, yet the present, and was definitely the last, which never changes, and it's the biggest thing of all. It's Elohim. Because in him we're supposed to live. In him we're supposed to move. In him we're supposed to have our being. Elohim is, as nouns go, the creator of a noun. He is the next big thing, the last big thing, your present big thing. The question is, are we in him? Are we linked up with him? Are we aligned with him? Because if we're with him and we acknowledge him in all of our way, he'll direct our path. So therefore, he knows where the next big thing is for you in the phases of your life. But instead, you see what Ye doing, you see what B doing, you see what Yah doing, you see what Wali doing, you see what Khalif doing, you see what Elon doing, you see what Gates doing, you see what DeMarc's doing, you see what this group is doing, you see what Apple's doing, you see what Samsung's doing, and you think that's the next big thing. You see what Louis is doing, what Gucci's doing, what Coach is doing. You think that's the next big thing. And we're supposed to have the light to see and discern. Elohim is the creator of heaven and earth and all that therein dwell. But we say it so frivolously. We say it like we say the word love. I love you. Liar, liar. Pants on fire. Hope you don't go to hell, because that's going to be a bad situation. Or gasoline draws in hell. That's what put the pants on fire. So I guess technically, if your pants on fire, you already okay. So let me just remove that one from your pictorial. Okay. But we frivolously say things. So we say, oh, Elohim, he's the creator of heaven and earth and all that therein dwells. All that therein dwells, no matter what phase, no matter what stage, no matter what station of life, he is always the creator in it. But we're looking for the next art thing. We're looking for the next NFT. We're looking for the next, we're looking for the next alternate universe. We're looking for the next artificial intelligence. That's a scary thought just thinking about it. I get the convenience of technology and the fun from science, but we are looking for things to substitute the original of all things. And the original of all things is not dead. He yet alive. And we are still trying to exalt our knowledge against the knowledge of Elohim. Wait a minute. The last person that's on record having done that, didn't they get kicked out of the throne of Elohim where all creativity comes from? Because they were trying to exalt their knowledge, their throne above the throne that made it. Is that what we're doing in the earth? When we don't acknowledge him in all of our ways so he can direct our path, we're trying to put our own throne up and then ask God to bless it.
Wow. Wow.
Hit different, don't it?
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm. Torah still loading. And it is still, my apostle T.R. Malone used to say this while they lived. And they said the Bible, but we're gonna enhance it. The Torah, which is in our Bible, is the news that was before the news that is the news today. Just a fact. Now let's go deeper into this. Elder Rogers, let's get to your point. All right. Why is this important? So we were talking about the fact that we're always looking for the next big thing. In business, we'll sell our souls, we'll kiss ankles, we'll kiss butts, we'll kiss, I said it, we'll kiss rings, we'll kiss someone's status, we'll hope to be included in. We will literally sell our souls to be a part of a certain circle of influence if we think it has benefit to us. And we have this perceived ideal that I can be a part of this elite group of people and never have a care or a concern in the world. Let me tell y'all something. Stop subscribing to that, because it is Elohim who reigns in the kingdoms of men. He puts up and he puts down. I don't care what structure appears to be omnipotent. There is only one.
Amen.
And that is Elohim.
Amen.
And your political arena, your skulls and bones, your Illuminatis, your your bishopric, your church denomination, your whatever movement, dear heart, Yahweh puts up and Yahweh puts down. Ain't none of them that get built. Just like Nimrod's tower, he tried to get into heaven with. Yahweh will look at it and say, they got the people believing, which is good, proving that what I created works. So when they're unified, they can accomplish anything. The same let us make man. Let us go down to the man we made and let them know this is not in the plan I gave. So you creating a temple and a tower to come up here to see me, the last person that tried to come up to my throne, I threw him down back to the earth. So now what I'm going to do is just discombobulate your languages so y'all don't understand each other. And this way you can't accomplish this as you've planned. He lets you rise so high. And when he determines it's time for you to sit down, he got a real cool way of knocking you down. I don't care who you are. And if you've ever been an authority, you've ever been high up in some celebrity status, you know just how easy it is to fall off that pedestal people have given you. Oh, you heard me say celebrity, so you thought I meant like movies and stuff. No, I'm talking about your church, because we have made celebrities out of our pastors and our prophets and our evangelists and our teachers, and we have put them up on very thin-based pedestals, pushed them up so high and fed them the whole way up. We got elevators that will bring them croissants, bring them croutons, bring them scones and coffees and blueberries and bananas, and we send them up on the elevator while we keep pushing them up. But the moment someone asks a question that bucks against the theory of their pedestal, they come falling down like Humpty Dumpty. And Yahweh has a real unique way of letting the people know. Be careful who you set up if it ain't me.
Facts.
I hope we ain't got to be in Shabbat to understand that revelation. All right, let's move on.
That's good right there.
Let's move on. Now, Elder Rogers, we here with you. You still there, Elder Rogers?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. Can you talk?
I'm gonna get up. Yes, sir, I can.
So while we were trying to find the next big thing in church, somebody told us, well, if you get smoke machines and disco strobe lights and bring them into the church and make it look like the club, we can get the club people to come to church.
The mindset.
That didn't go over too well, did it?
That's what they're doing.
Elder, I don't want to mess with them right now. Let's me and you stick to the question for why you got me drug out here on a Friday night doing some stuff.
Put it all on me. Okay, I'll take it.
Y'all do know that's what happened, right? We got bottles of Pompeii anointing oil being passed out in church on trays. And you know how you in the club and you pop bottles as they do, and then they put the sparkler on the champagne bottle on the tray that the usher, the maid, the waitress, the waiter brings to the VIP section, and the bottles of whatever they've purchased got sparklers on them. And that's pretty much what we're doing in church. We're bringing out bottles of olive oil, passing around with sparklers on them, and the lights is dim and the gas and the smoke is rolling, and we got the synthesizers and we got the ominous music, like we in a rave. Jumping all around, get up and jump around, that's God, jump around, that's God. He can make you jump, he can make you holler, he can make you squall. But that, you know what? Let me just get back to why I was here. I'm sorry. Y'all have to forgive me. Y'all forgive me because I know I just made some irritations in the skins of peoples. All right, let's keep moving. So we're looking for the next big thing. It's funny because every time my viewership goes up to a certain amount, as soon as I say something about the church, it drops down to like 10 people. It's so funny to me. Anyway, next, Elder Rogers, we're looking for the next big thing. You made a statement and a question. And I said, let's extend this conversation. Now I want you to give me the question now that we reset the entirety for why we were here.
Yes, sir. In Luke chapter 16, verses 1 through 9.
Let me put it up on the board. Everybody pay attention. Luke 16. This was an interesting thing because we were talking about business and how we make business and how we do business, and we always trying to be like the world. And at the end of our program, Elder Rogers, which is in part why I love her, plus I just love her country attitude, though she is extremely wise as a person. She's been in leadership and ministry for Yahweh knows how long. But she brought up a question. It seemed like as if it shouldn't have even been a part of the conversation. It just should not have been. It just ought not so had been. And it just seemed completely in left field. But then Yahweh allowed for her and the conversation ensued. So Matthew chapter 10. Where are we at?
It's Luke chapter 16.
How'd I get to Matthew? Oh, I'm ahead of myself. Okay, Luke 16. I'll go to Matthew later. Luke 16. So she starts talking about Apostle. What's this got to do like with does this connect with the man who was getting fired and then he go ahead, ask your question.
Okay,
little backdrop. For the last few days, I had been studying of Luke 16, and lots of times I studied real late at night, so it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I just couldn't put it together. And I thought, let me reach out and email you to ask it. No, I'm not going to do it. And then all of a sudden, here it is. I have opportunities to ask you on the preceding word. Yes. So the question.
Hey, get it right, because that's my brand. The preceding word is a brand. That's the next big thing.
The preceding
we
word.
We thought, right? So don't mess my brand up. Even though I'm messing up, I'm chopping it all up. Don't mess my brand up. Get it right, right? No, preceding word is not the next big thing, but what we do in the preceding word, which is take about his word.
Yes, sir.
That's the big thing. Go ahead. I'm having fun.
Yes, it is. Okay, so you were talking about how employees pilfer and steal and take away things that they've not earned. That's not a part of their contract or part of their salary. And then I thought about this steward who took their the owner's invoices from whoever the debtors were and told them to mark it down. If you owed $8, I don't have my Bible with me because I'm at work.
I got it. You just answer your question. I got the rest.
So many. How does that relate to it?
Okay.
So and then it goes, the children of the world are wiser than the children of light. How does that relate, and what does that actually say?
So I talked over you, so people probably did not hear you in your question. So I'm going to be quiet again. I just wanted you to know that I got the passage up. I'll read it to everybody. We'll make it make sense. But I want you to ask the question again, because I don't like when people be talking over people when they're trying to ask or talk. And I just did that. So ask your question.
Yes, sir. My question is this. In light of what we're talking about, what you were talking about last on Wednesday, about employees misappropriating, stealing, pilfering, taking, and just messing with stuff that it's not a part of their job. Well, I won't say job duty, but it's a part of their salary agreement. Okay, so how does that relate to what you're talking about? And then also where it talks about the children of the world are wiser than the children of light. Okay.
The truth was, what we were discussing, it didn't go along with it. And that's the uniqueness of you, Elder Rogers. Always minding something and pulling something else out of the mind we started. We looking for coal, and you'd already found diamonds, and you'd already found the gold in the same mine as the coal. Which is why I love hanging around you. And people like you, which most everybody on this platform is. So it doesn't really, but it does speak to, it is relative in the sense that we were talking about finding the next big thing and then working for the place we thought created the next big thing. But while working in the place that we're searching for the next big thing in, we become subservient to the creators or the discoverers of this next big thing. And then we work for them rather than work for what Yahweh wants us to do. And we justify it because they give us a salary or a contract or what have you. And now we're in there as a subservient employee to a vision that's not ours. And then we're in there serving their vision, not ours. Then we're in there stealing, borrowing without permission, and never repaying simple things that we don't think are really theft. Q-tips, writing pencils, notepads, Post-it notes, because we can post them because our church said, write your vision on the wall. So you went to work instead of going to Kinko's, or you went to work instead of going to Walgreens, or you went to work instead of going to Staples, and said, well, let me take this notepad. Let me take these Post-it notes, because the pastor had said I got to write the vision. So I'm going to take these notes home and I'm going to take them to my house so I can post notes when I get visions on my refrigerator and on my mirrors and on my windows and on my car dash. Yeah, I'm going to use these Post-it notes that company paid for, who pays me to do a job, and those are supposed to be used for me doing my job, not me. Anyway, so that's how the question becomes relevant. So now this guy in Luke chapter 16, Elder Rogers has this quickening about. Look at this. Verse 1 says, and he said unto his disciples, this person is Messiah. There was a certain rich man who had a steward, someone who was subservient to him. And the same steward was accused unto the rich man that he had wasted the rich man's goods. Verse 2. And the rich man called him and said to the servant, how is it that I hear this of you? I've given you a job. I've given you security for your family, and you treat me this way. So give an account of your stewardship, for that you may be, so give an account of your stewardship, because I need to know what damage you did to me, because based on what I've heard, I've already determined to fire you. So give an account of your stewardship so that you may be no longer my steward. Now, the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my Lord takes away from me the stewardship. How can I give you an account of my stewardship if you've taken away my ability to be the steward? I'm going to be ruined. I can't beg. I'm too old in this craft. I've been doing this too long. I don't have any new skill sets. I can't dig. And for me to go out on the street and be a panhandler, a beggar, I would be ashamed. I am resolved what to do. That when I am put out of my stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. Here's what I got to do. So he called every one his Lord's debtors, brought them unto him. And he said unto them, the first, hey, how much do you owe my boss? Verse 5, watch. This is what he says. He says, how much do you owe my boss? Because I'm your account manager. How much did we lend you? He said, well, we owe him 100 measures of oil. He said unto him, take your bill, sit down right now. I'm about to bless you. Sit down right now and write, you only owe him 50. I'm telling you to do that while I'm still the steward. Verse 7 says, then he said to another, he went to his house. He says, how much do you owe, Mr. Steward of that rich man? We owe you 100 measures of wheat. He said, take your bill. All right, I'm gonna bless you today. I want you to go ahead and write you owe him 80. Write that you only owe 80. And the master, checking this out, he commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the children of this world, watch this, are in their generation wiser than the children of light. And I say unto you, Messiah says, make to yourself friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when they fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. He that is full of faith in that which is least is faithful also in that which is much. And he that is unjust in the little things is unjust also in the much of things. So if therefore you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, Who will commit to your trust the true riches? And if you've not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? Now, let me be clear. No servant can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and he will despise the other. You can't serve Elohim and Mammon. Verse 14 says, and the Pharisees also, which were covetous, they heard all these things that he said, and they derided him and said unto him, wait a minute. You are they which justify yourselves before men, but Elohim knows your heart. For that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of Elohim. And the law of the prophets were up until Yochanan, and since that time, the kingdom of Elohim has been preached, and every man presses into it. It is easier for heaven and earth to pass than for one tittle of the law to fail. What? So when you read this story and you understand the actual context of the content, in spite of the concert that preached it, you will realize that what Yahweh does in this story through the person of Yeshua HaMashiach is helps you guys to understand what this steward did that make his master like, yo, that's exactly what I would have done. Cool. Does anybody want to know what the steward actually did? Because I know if I'm taking this much time, there's got to be some reveal, right? It is deep, Pastor Prophet Leslie. It's very deep. Does anybody want to know exactly what this steward did that got the praise of even technically Yeshua making a testimonial about it and got the praise of the boss that fired him in his being fired?
Yes, sir. I would like to know.
Do tell.
Anybody want to take a shot at it? Elder Rogers, you've been studying it. Come on.
Well, I will pick up on the hint that you gave us Wednesday. He was acting within his job description, taking leverages that he had the right to take.
He had the what to take, Elder Rogers?
He had the right to take.
Oh, boy, I'm stirring up. He had the what to take, Elder Rogers?
He had the right to take because it was within his job description.
Because it was within his job description. And so any person who writes your job description gives you a level of authority that because your word being the edict says this entity has this authority, and because the man who gave the edict about the job description let the person responsible for the job description do his job, so when he left, the king, the Lord, the rich man knew where his inventory laid, and whatever that steward said, it would be. Problem was, the master didn't know what all was jammed up, but he's hearing so many stories and too many of them are correlating and he's remembering certain things. So now he has to just simply cut ties with this guy. I'm going to teach you something you didn't see in seminary. He says, I got to cut ties with this guy. You know what? I heard the stories. I've made my mind up to fire him. That's the first thing he says. He says, but what's the stewardship? Give an account for your stewardship. Give an account for what I've given you to take care of for me. Listen, Listen, don't think you know the story yet. He says, give an account for everything that I've given you authority over. So if I got 100 accounts, 100 families, 100 farmers, 100 producers, go out there, find out what they owe me, bring back and give me a reconciliation of where I am right now. This is what was smooth. They didn't have the type of automation you and I got today where you can throw it into an app, throw it into a computer, and let the computer do the computations. Whatever the master sent that servant out to do, whatever that servant said is what it is for that master. The master knows he's already taken a loss. He's going to just cut his losses right here. So go get your stuff together now. Dude is like, wait, man, hold up. Let me talk about it. No, I don't believe you got a chance here. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep you on because everybody knows your integrity is in question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this loss. I'm going to take this L, go get your stuff straight, bring my books back so I can start off at ground zero. That'll be the new ground zero. I'm giving you that respect. I'm not killing you. I'm not putting you in jail, but go settle up my accounts. Whatever you come back with is what we're going to do. What? Yeah, watch this. So he says, look, I need my job. I can't help you. I need my job. What am I going to do? I can't be a beggar. I've only been doing this forever. I'm so skilled and crafty at it. That's how I sort of kind of got away with the little levities I took. But I don't know how to beg. I'll be ashamed. Fine. But go settle up my accounts and come back and give me my balance books. Give me my ledgers. And from there, I'll go. Whatever the losses are, I'll take them. Watch. Is anybody intrigued yet? Okay, watch. He says, what am I going to do? The people already know I'm being fired. Y'all didn't read all this in the text, did you? Let me help you. The people that I am the account manager for, pretty much by the rumor mill, know that I'm fired. What can I do to get the people whose accounts I manage to let me into their home? How can I get back into their homes? Because once this really goes out there, nobody's gonna trust me. And I gotta build trust somewhere so I can land. He goes to his biggest account holders. He says, hey, we've been doing business 45 years. How much do you owe us? They think he's coming to collect the debt. So what he does is he goes to those who owe them big. And he says, I tell you what, situation in my life has changed. I'm probably gonna need a space to come to and go to. This debt, 100 measures of oil, 100 sheaves of grain, that's huge. And I know how big that is on your bottom line. And I know, because I know your company, you really don't have enough people to do what you need to do. And this debt is huge. Tell you what, in case I need a favor in a couple of months, cut your bill in half. Whatever I say, the master's going to accept. What? I owe you 100 measures of oil. That's expensive. I got you. Just put 50 on the paper. Are you sure? Yeah, I am. And see, because of his job description, help me, Ruach. Because of his job description, it can't be questioned. And the boss has already said, just bring it back to me and tell me where I got to start once you're gone. But to this provider, in this ecology of commerce, he says, you won't have to pay that full Monty. Just cut it in half. Save that money, and when I come to you later on, remember me. Y'all don't get this yet because it's been preached different. Look, he goes down the street to the next big indebted individual who can't really pay the whole 100, always looking for installment plans. He says, listen, how much do you owe? 100. All right. I'm going to need a favor later on. I might need to shift my skill sets. I know you owe him big. I'm going to do you a real solid before I leave. Do y'all got my page? I'm going to do you a real solid before I leave. So what I want you to do is, in fact, take the 100 that I know and you know I know you owe. Just write 80. What? Yeah, just write 80. That's all you owe now. Because I'm the steward. I'm still the steward until I'm officially fired. I'm not fired until I bring this ledger back to him. He's not questioning it because I'm the one who does the audits on his books. And whatever I'm telling him, he's cutting his losses with me. And whatever I'm telling him is going to be the end of it. So once I'm fired, every account I went and gave this great grand deduction that cannot be questioned, will not sever your relationship with the provider. Once I'm gone, it gives you the necessary capital to mechanize, the necessary capital to get more money out, get a bigger bang for your buck, and you can probably not have to be under the pressure of owing him. I got you. So when this all blows over, I can come back and get a job with any of y'all. Did y'all read the story that way, or did y'all think it was just spiritual?
My biggest thing was the right or the wrong with it. So now that I understand that it was within the job description.
That's the issue, Elder.
Yes.
That's the issue. What is the right or the wrong of it?
I thought he was stealing.
He wasn't. He's the steward.
Yes, now I
He's the steward. That's like with King David. Everybody thinks that King David committed adultery. And King David did not commit adultery. David, the man, did, but King David did not. Why? Does anybody know why King David did not commit murder, nor did King David commit adultery? King David.
He was operating as a man.
No, he was operating under the job description that Yahweh gave for the king that Israel says, we want a king like other nations. So Yahweh said, this is what that looks like. The king the king like other nations is not going to operate the way I have had Moshe and Samuel and Deborah and Samson operate. They're not going to operate like that. So Samuel, stop crying, dry your tears, boy. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting me as their theocracy. And they want to run the kingdom I created the way the world does. So give them what they've asked for. Solemnly protest that they do not do this. So King David only becomes King David because of the edict and the job description Yahweh wrote for the king like other nations, reigning in the kingdom of Elohim. That is deep. So when King David and King Saul, who were great men, good, fearing men, when the job description came about, they could take anybody in the kingdom and have them killed for any reason at any time, and nobody's going to charge the king foolishly, because the king, like other nations, is the only one in charge. Don't matter what they do. It's the kingdom of the king. Long live the king. Now that gets deep. That's where we don't want to talk to the apostle. We like, oh, he's crazy. He's not. Yeah, something's wrong with him. Well, I don't know what's in his Cowboys cup he's drinking, but it can't be. It's just water. I promise you, it's eternal water. I keep it on fleek. It sits right here with me the whole time. It's just eternal water. And so what's he drinking? How is that possible? It's about, watch this, knowing what your contract is. What is he authorized by the master to do? That servant in Yeshua's parabolic lesson tells us that the master hired a servant to be steward over his goods. He's finding out that there's some left hand, underhand stuff going on. Can't really prove it, but it's too many stories. I can't afford my name and integrity to go. So, steward, just bring me my books. Whatever you say is what it is. But we'll start from there. And the steward sets himself up. Now, that is a thing that someone from the world would do. And that's how they became wise as a serpent. I got to eat. I can't beg. I don't know any other thing to do. How can I rebound from this? Let me sow blessings. Let me sow favor. Let me sow in this last big thing. So when I come out of here and I run through all of my different monies and savings that I have, if I can't start my own business, or even if I start a business to compete with the master I've been working for all these years, these other vendors will know I did them a real solid. I did them a generational wealth solid. See, because 100 units of oil is a lot. 100 issues of grain is a lot. And however many other people he did that with, the king is like, just like I heard how you were stealing from me when I told you to reconcile my accounts and whatever you bring back to me will be it, no issues. I see what you did. Can't say I wouldn't have done it myself. Pretty smart. All right, get out of here. All of our years, whatever that may be. I don't know if he rewarded him. I don't know if he blessed him. I don't know if he just sent him on, but he didn't arrest him. He just told him we're going to cut ties. And I like the way you preserved yourself. Respect. The children of darkness. Clearly, the man's a child of darkness. But they are wiser than the children of light. Most would have been like, what do I do? And they'd have ran about and just said, hey, I gotta go bring up all your accounts, bring all your accounts current and do this and do that. He could have simply said, okay, king, such and so owes you 100, such and so owes you 100, such and so owes you 100, and went and made them sign off that they do owe you 100 and left it at that, because that would have been, watch this, what would be perceived as the right thing to do. Now, Elder Rogers, so you remember, this question came from you because we talked about rules being put in place and church people never understanding that you can bend a rule, but you don't break it. It's the break of a rule that is the transgression. So the children of this world are wiser than the children of light because we give ourselves these pre-existent borders, which you say, well, here's what it is. That's the letter of the law. Okay, cool. But you can push that. If that envelope don't bust open. Oh, what is he trying to preach? He's teaching shady stuff. Just telling you, he's
teaching liberation. That's what you're doing right now.
He told you, he said, listen what he said in Proverbs 22. Look at what he said in Proverbs 22. Y'all don't want to talk to me. Y'all think we so brainwashed by what's been done inside of our churches, inside of this place, that people want to make sure that they're the ones who get it all done right. But listen, y'all, look at Proverbs 22:29. Y'all ready for this? Look at this. Listen to what he says. This is a deep piece. Proverbs 22:29. Listen to what he says. I'm going to start at verse number 20. Verse 24. Make no friendship with an angry man. That should be a whole nother conversation. Make no friendships with an angry man, and with a furious man, don't go, lest you learn his ways and get a snare to your soul. This is about an angry man. This is about a wrathful man, a furious man. That's just ignorance, right? Verse 26. Now watch. I'm sorry, I didn't put it on the screen. I'm coming for y'all right now. I'm coming for y'all right now. Put it on the screen for y'all. Here you go. I'll reread verse 24. Make no friendship with an angry man and with a furious man. Do not go. Verse 25 says, lest you learn his ways and get a snare to your soul. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts, meaning bill collectors. What? Exactly. Why you think they didn't like Matthew? Why you think they did not like the publican? Yahweh told him, Paul, it's already been, look, don't be of them who are sureties for a debt, guarantors of a debt, meaning you got to bill collect. You're playing middleman between a debt and you eke out profits with what we consider to be, you put a surety on top of it. I'll collect it. I'll make sure that they bring you your money, and don't worry about how I do it. Just break me off a piece for whatever I collect. Don't be those that are of sureties of debts. Don't you be a debt collector. Did y'all know that? Y'all never knew that. Let me keep reading. We'll talk about that another day.
I didn't know that. I thought that was co-signing, being a co-signer.
It does have parts of that. Sureties also mean, because that still is basically someone who takes care of that. Don't braid yourself with it. That's what this word means. It means a rob. It means don't braid yourself with it. Don't intermix with it. Watch this. Also, or don't give to be security for it as a kind of exchange. Don't engage, intermeddle, don't intermingle with it. Don't undertake the surety. One, don't give a pledge, so don't co-sign, but it goes deeper. Also, do not become a bill collector, because the pledge, being a surety for something, means if you co-sign a loan, in theory, if you co-sign a loan and the person the loan is for falls short, you're the bill collector. Y'all got caught up in your credit name. Let's get caught up in the commandment. 27 says, you know what? I am not going to be all this good information. Somebody is going to be grateful for it. I'm just saying it's got to happen.
That's it, man. I got it. I got it.
Somebody got to get that. Okay? Now look at this next piece. He says in verse 20, says, if you have nothing to pay, why should he take away your bed from under you, bill collector? See, we never connected 26 with 27. That's what the bill collector does. That's what the tow truck guy, that's what the repo man do. Bro, I got it. I realize it. I did have the credit. I fell on hard times. My partner died. We were having a problem with the bills. Then all the other bills fell on us. I don't have the money to pay it. In the kingdom of Elohim, in the kingdom of Commonwealth, if your brother doesn't have to pay for the bed, don't take his bed. Show sidka. Don't become a bill collector. It is so quiet. Okay, but I got to move on because that's not why we're here. Look at verse number 27. If he has nothing to pay, why should you take away his bed from under you? Remove not the ancient landmark which your fathers have set. Oh my goodness. See you as a man diligent in his business. Are you diligent in your business? Are you mindful of all things that come along with business? Are you, in fact, this word here is moer. Are you, in fact, quick, skillful, ready to do work? That word comes from another word that's called mahar, which means, are you able to be liquid and flow easily and hurry to get, in a good or a bad sense, things done? Do you actually know how to handle sudden movements and move quickly with what's got to be done in business? So that's where we get the phrase that we sort of kind of dubbed and said, in business be men. This is where that comes from. Seest thou a man diligent in business? What is business? Business is what it is. Business is an element that we call melakah, and that means have deputyship, whether it's serving in ministry, as it were, generally as employment. All right. And therefore also having as property, business, cattle, becoming industrious, becoming one who is an officer of things, manner of work, workmanship, skill set in business, which also affects your integrity. Are you a man who is diligent in his business? Because that man, verse 29, look at what he says, verse 29, see that thou art a man, or see thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings, and he shall not stand before mean men. If you diligent in business. So in business, be men. In business, you may have to push the deadline. Just don't break it. You may have to push. So if there's a grace period, can I talk to y'all? The grace period means it's still a part of the contract for the payment. It's okay to use the grace period. That keeps you from going into a contract breach. There may be a penalty for using the space allotted, but use it wisely. Be diligent about not entering into those areas all the time, but you can push to that place. Some people get so stressed out, not understanding the contract, not understanding the terms of the actual contract, as it were. And then you're stressed out because of what people say. You know, I got to pay my bills on time. Yes, pay your bills on time. Be that person. Prepare and budget. But sometimes life can hit you, and people are stressing out, wanting to commit suicide or do themselves harm because of a standard, watch this, a false plate of the contract. The issue is to not to break the contract. Now, the person giving you the contract puts these borders in that are not the final stop. The final stop is the break. And it is good practice to practice not going to the border before the final stop. And many people don't operate in that border space for fear of thinking that their name will be damaged. Will you be talked about if you always go over the border space? You will, but the contract's not broken. Now, once you break the contract, that's a whole different conversation about you and your integrity and your business. But in business, you got to be men. Sometimes you need to have that because the person giving you the contract understands it. They just prefer you don't go there. That's why they put penalty to it. Am I helping anybody? That would be a no, because y'all, so everybody
Yes,
knows.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Apostle, I said it was liberating because working under the constraint of black or white, right or wrong. I mean, now that, you know, you can go to the limit without stepping off. I use this phrase when I talk to my staff. Cut the corners without hitting the curb. That means take the easy way, take the leniencies, take whatever measures or approach you need to take as long as you do not break policy.
I would enhance that, though the relativeness of the statement is true. The only time I would tell them to do what you got to do to keep from breaking the contract, the policy, is when circumstances hit you, because you can't always prepare for every type of a scenario. And if you're in one where you're just like stumped, do what you got to do to get the product to the floor, to get the completion of that contract done. Just don't break the rule. And then let me know what you've done so I can go back and make sure that problem does not become a deficiency again. That's all I would do to enhance that.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Does anybody find this conversation what wise as a serpent means? And then harmless as a dove. Oh, you know why we have a problem with that? Because wise as a serpent, the serpent is the devil. The serpent is not the devil. The serpent is a beast of the field, just like a gazelle, just like a lion, just like a giraffe, just like a beaver, just like a groundhog, just like a squirrel. The serpent is a creation of Elohim, perfectly made, commandeered by evil, and then got reconstructed. But the serpent is not evil. What got into him? That's the evil. Though Yahweh says, because you two, female and serpent, engaged in this action that caused my commandment to be transgressed, here is what's going to happen to your physical pulchritude. That's your part. That's what you get for this portion in action. But the serpent is not evil. Now, woman, you and the serpent are not going to like each other. But it don't mean the serpent is evil. You just don't like each other. And this seed of evil that was planted and the seed of the woman that I'm going to plant will always good in her, evil seed now sown by this action will always be beneath the seed of good I'm going to bring through her to remedy this problem. So therefore, instead of taking out and putting the spiritual to this, we thought the serpent was evil. Now we don't like serpents. That's why women don't like serpents. That's why men have issues with serpents, because their moms didn't like them. And then we know the damage of any kind of beast, but we don't like a serpent. We like a lion more than we don't like a serpent. And the lion and the serpent are both predators. You respect them the same way. You don't call the lion a devil. No, because we associate the lion of the tribe of Judah with Messiah. I just dropped a microphone that should have exploded 18 times over and then left us all stunned on the ground. Go do the replay. You'll get it then.
Okay.
Think about it.
Got it now.
You do not. Okay. The sheep is a beast of the field. We call that beautiful because Yeshua was associated to it. The lion of the tribe of Judah. We associate that, though it's a predator, though it's a beast of the field, though it will eat the lamb, we don't still deem the lion evil because of its association. The serpent is going to eat the lamb too and fight with the lion over the lamb. But it's not a fight between good and evil. It's a fight between predators who are hungry. Who gets it first? But we look at the serpent as if it's the devil, all because of how it has been associated verbally. Y'all not gonna talk to me today. It's you know what? Sabbath is coming in. I'm gonna go talk to the Father. He'll talk back to me. That's cool. He gonna talk to me. He gonna talk to me. So be wise as a serpent. It ain't you being the devil. Be wise, be subtle. Learn how to get stuff done without being seen, because you got to creep up on your prey in order for you to eat. Y'all hungry? Oh, y'all don't get that. Are you hungry? So if you see the lion crawling in the meadows, trying to leap out on the gazelle, y'all good with that. Oh, look at nature. But when you see the snake, everybody like, yeah, I got all these snakes in my yard and everybody's a friend of mine's a snake. Y'all is tripping. Serpent is a predator. It's got to eat. Our verbal associations, contrary to Elohim's creation, have put that serpent as if it's the devil. And granted, we've made some very good analogies that have a very good way of looking at it. But I don't know. I saw a story called Lion King. And I saw Simba. I saw Scar. And I saw Mufasa. Scar is the personification of evil. He's a lion, and we still don't call him the devil.
Right.
That wasn't worthy. I think it's my energy. Is it my screaming, yelling that does it? It's like, I don't want to hear him. He's screaming at me. Why is he screaming at me? I'm really not screaming at you. I'm talking to my microphone.
Apostle,
It's got to be my energy.
Well, it's got me looking at myself. Wow, do I really look at things like that? And I'm busy looking at myself. I can't answer you. So with that, I feel the mic.
If y'all see a little black striped snake walk in your yard, it's just he can only eat a rat. He can only eat bugs. And you're like, oh, a snake. He will eat spiders. You need snakes. I've done a lot of gardening. You actually need snakes. They eat the rodents, which bring you disease. But you kill the snake because you think it's the devil. And then you die of Ebola because you're overridden with rats. I'm really trying to help you. I hope that works. And all you're getting, what you're supposed to get.
An understanding.
But like Tawana Moody is saying on Facebook, she's like, when I see a serpent, when I see a snake, I'm done. And she's laughing. Because we're all like that because of the way the narrative have been given to us. And we never went back in all of our getting to get understanding that the serpent was created before the human was. It wasn't created to be the devil. And the devil didn't occupy the serpent. Evil occupied the serpent. Evil actually occupied the devil, which is what made him the devil. The devil is not in control of evil. Evil controls the devil. Scar was not in control of the hyenas. The hyenas used his end so that the enemy of my enemy can become my friend. Scar is the enemy to the hyenas, but because Scar, a lion, now hates his brother, another lion, makes his brother his enemy, the hyenas say, we want to kill all the lions, so any enemy of my enemy now is my friend, even if the enemy that hates my enemy is my enemy in creative form. I'm going to use him until we get what we want. And then my enemy who helped me destroy my enemy because we became friends, I'll deal with them later. Evil never pays. That's too deep. It's my screaming, ain't it? Because I get passionate about this. So the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. Because we've been fed this religious, I almost called it fodder. The commandments of Elohim are to be carried out. Don't break them. But dear heart, you're going to come right up to the line. Y'all know who else came right up to the line of almost not fulfilling his contract?
Yeshua.
Did he now?
Oh, yes, he did.
What'd he do?
Yahweh, if it's let thy will be done. Well,
So
no,
that's what he said. He said, there's two wills at play right now. I've never gone against your word. I've always done what you've told me today to do, the things you see me do to my fathers, the thing you see me say to my fathers. But right now I got two different wills at play here. My will to not do this because I really don't like these people. But then there is my will to do your will for these people because I really do love you. And you sent me to do this. But here's the catch. He's pushing the envelope. Can I get out of this right now? That's what Messiah is saying in the Garden of Gethsemane. And I hope y'all prepare that better for your 7 last word sermons when it comes up. Understand what took place in the garden so you understand what took place on that cross. Understand what took place in Pesach so you'll understand what took place on that cross. And we preach the commentaries we've been given. We preach the narratives we've been inundated with. We teach them because we've been nurtured in that vein. But dear heart, I promise you, be wise. Listen to what he said. He said, seek wisdom. Listen. Can I talk? You know what? I just wish the people would come back on the program. Listen. There is a passage that says, wisdom is the principal thing. Anybody ever read it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Nobody, just Elder Rogers, and she's just up at all kind of nights reading the Bible. Anybody ever heard the passage, wisdom is the principal thing, seek her?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
So why would Yeshua say, watch this. We're going to shut everything down right here. Go to Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Why would Messiah say this? Matthew 10, 16. Y'all ready? When you get it, say wisdom is the principal thing. I don't think I've ever had a show with this few viewers. We started off pretty good. Stir up that gift. All right. Y'all ready? Matthew 10. Let's go up to verse number. Let's go to verse 5. Y'all ready? We're going to go to verse 5. Why would Messiah say this if, in fact, wisdom is the principal thing? If any man lacks wisdom, this is the thing. Go to James. If any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of Elohim, who gives it liberally and upbraids it not. I need y'all to say that wisdom is the principal thing. No.
Wisdom is the principal thing.
Wisdom is the principal thing.
Look at this right here. Go to verse 5, Matthew 10, 5. These 12 Yeshua sent forth. Verse 5. Let me give it to y'all on screen in case y'all looking on Facebook. Some of y'all still working. Y'all still in the work mode. Let me give it to you. Look at what it says here. Watch. He says, boom, Bible's up. Can y'all read it? Hey, Dr. Norris, good to see you today. Shalom Aleichem. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. Wisdom is the principal thing. Any man lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh, who gives it liberally and will not upbraid it from us. We need wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing. Look at what Messiah says. These 12, verse 5, these 12 Yeshua sent forward. He commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles. Wait a minute, what? Go not into the way of the Gentiles and into any city of the Samaritans. Do not enter, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Here is your evangelical movement. He didn't send y'all out to the world. He sent y'all to them that were expecting him. I'm sorry, I can't read verse 5 differently. Go not into the way of the Gentiles. Don't go into the city of the Samaritans. Don't go. But rather, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, proclaim these teachings, saying, like Yochanan said, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received of this word. Freely I need you to give this word. What? Okay, verse 9. Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses. Take nothing but my word. Don't even bring a script for your journey. Y'all know what a script is? Y'all think it's scriptures. No, script. This word script is a Grecian word. But this word script, I'll come back down in a second. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get you. We're in verse number 10. But look at the word script here for verse 10. The word script here for verse 10 is the word pera. Okay. Now, what this pera is something that the actual shepherds would use back in the day. It was like a wallet. It was a pouch for food. Y'all call them man bags today. Y'all call them purses for the women, right? So every good shepherd and everybody back in the day carried a script. King David carried a script when he pulled out the 5 smooth stones that killed Goliath. That's a script. So he says, verse 10, watch what he says. I'm going to open the screen up again. Verse 10, if y'all watching, verse 5 to 10 is where we are. The 12 went out. Don't go to the Samaritans. Don't go to the Gentiles. Go to the lost sheep. Go teaching this. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Verse 8, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you've been given this word because I just gave it to you for 3.5 years. Give what I gave you freely. Provide neither gold. Don't take gold. Don't take silver. Don't take brass in your purses. You've seen me turn 2 fish and 5 loaves into a meal for thousands. So you don't need to take anything. Just get my word. Don't put anything inside your food pouch, your man bag for this journey. Don't even wear 2 coats. Matter of fact, don't even worry about a second pair of shoes. And you won't even need a stave for this one. Meaning, what's a stave? What's a stave? Stave is the word here. It is a literal cane or a walking stick. You won't even need that for this journey because you're only going to the people in Jerusalem and in Judea. They're looking for this word, right? So he says, don't even take a stave. Verse number 10. For the workman, is worthy of his meat. Y'all say worthy of his hire, right? So when you're doing what I'm telling you to do, I'm going to make sure that people take care of you. Yahweh Sabaoth is going to be with you. You'll be worthy of the meat that you're given. Verse 11, and into whatever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy. We don't even know what that means. We're around here trying to preach and go and tell people, you know that when you're going to go and do your evangelism, you're supposed to be inquiring about, hey, who's looking for the Messiah? Who's worthy to hear the words I'm about to share? That's why when you come into this ministry, we're not interested in putting up big signs and saying, hey, y'all come here and listen. We're going and saying, hey, who's looking for Messiah? If you're not looking for Messiah, you're not worthy of my conversation. What? Absolutely. That's what he meant by go to see who in it is worthy and there abide until you go thence. And when you come into the house that is worthy, because they're looking for me, salute it with your shalom. Verse 13, and if the house be worthy, because they're Torah observant, let your shalom come up on it. But if it's not worthy, meaning they're antagonistic, meaning that they are agnostic, or they're whatever, they're like, whatever. If they're not worthy, let your shalom return to you. That's why you don't speak shalom over everybody. Verse 14 says, and whosoever shall not receive you, the words you are sharing about me, nor hear your words, then depart out of that house and that city. Shake off the dust of your feet, man. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. Is y'all learning anything about Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah? Stop. We'll come back in a minute. Go, he says, and it'll be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Verse 16, look at it. Behold, I send you forth as sheep. Prey amidst predators. Do y'all know what he was really saying? I send you forth as a healthy meal. I send you forth as a healthy meal to people who are hungry for this meal. That's what the wolf represents here. I'm sending you forth. You are the meat that they know not of, and you are going to be in the midst of wolves who are going to want to consume you, just like they do me since I've been walking with you for 3 years. Oh, y'all never read it that way? Oh, let me keep going. I'm sending you forth as a full-on whole meal for hungry, starving wolves. Be ye therefore, because of this, I need you, listen. Wisdom's a principal thing, right? Come on, Zion, I need you to stay with me. Wisdom's a principal thing, right? If any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh our Elohim. He'll give it liberally, and you'll be the smarter for it. Look at what he says in verse 16. I'm sending you forth as prey amongst predators. So therefore, you have to be wise as serpents, and yet staying away from them trying to consume you like a wolf would chomp down on a lamb. I need you to still do it in love. Be as harmless as a dove.
Amen.
Are y'all getting?
Yes. Amen.
Does that hit different? Anybody?
Mrs. Geese, yes, it does, because I've read that scripture and I've often in my prayer used it, but the way that you put it, it just added to my understanding. So thank you.
And it becomes problematic for seminary theology. Because when we think of sheep, oh, the docile sheep. Yeah, right. They are the choice predator or choice prey in the earth. Wolves know it can get, they'll fight the wolf, but they can get that lamb. That lion knows that lamb is got. He says, I'm sending you forth. You're going to look like a lamb chop, not a sheep. You're going to look like a lamb chop to some hungry pack of wolves. Y'all know how that turns out. Wolves ain't even got to be hungry for them to go ahead and just start eating. If they see a lamb, we have to eat this and store it later. We'll sit around for 5 days and let it digest, but we're going to eat it while it's in front of us, right? There's either feast or famine. So right now I'm a feast what is good. There's a lamb sitting right there. Let's get it. 8 of us, he's ours. I'm sending you out because what I put inside of you is what is needed. You have the meat. You have the meat that they know not of, and they are right now ravening wolves looking for this meat because in Judea, in Jerusalem, they are looking for the Messiah. You have the actual instructions to let them know that Messiah is here, and they will consume you. They will look to eat you up, but I need you to not get trapped to where you become the meal, but what you are housing becomes their meal. So I need you to be wise as a serpent. Don't let them overtax you. Give them and drop it like it's hot, and then be as harmless as a dove doing it.
This is really a blessing.
This is good stuff. It's hard to get to my mind.
You know, crickets is a good form of protein for those of us who are hungry, like me. I'm really hungry right now. I think I need to go out and grab me some grub so I can get set up for my Shabbat. What y'all think about a cricket patty?
Better than a cricket.
All right. Yeah.
Lots of proteins in it, but
Do you, sir?
A delicacy.
It's a delicacy somewhere. I think John the Baptist, who carried the gospel a whole lot better than I did, he ate them. You know, crickets and locusts. That's a good source of protein.
Grasshoppers and ants too.
Grasshoppers, definitely the ants. You know, so.
Listen.
So we've got 4 minutes. Anybody got a thought or a question? Of why we need to be harmless as a dove, but yet wise as a serpent, and how we keep saying, I know we spun off on this, but do y'all see why you can't keep looking at the serpent as something evil? Even though Yahweh has now made it something that you are above, and your heel is to keep crushing its head. It simply means that the serpent, because it's wild, because it's subtle, because it's wise, it will find a way to rise. Every time you think the serpent is dead, inside of it innately is this survival mechanism. If you don't, that's why you got to cut the head of the serpent off. Because you cut it, chop it, it's going to regrow. And every time it rises, as long as you're in the word, you'll crush its head. Now the image of that is relegated to the serpent, and we make that the devil. Just want to share that with y'all. Dr. Norris says, no, thank you. No crickets for me. I'm good. Just keep the jokes coming, but no cricket, protein, patties, shakes. But it is a good lean form, and I got to lose this belly gut. I just got too big, so I got to find a new way to make sure I eat better. It's a joke, y'all. All right. Okay, any thoughts? Questions?
Apostle, I would just like to say thank you so very much. Now I can go to bed a little bit tonight. Versus.
All right, you broke up, but I think I heard you say you can go to bed better tonight or something like that.
I said, thank you for the understanding of those verses. Yahweh be praised. And now I can go to sleep a little earlier, that I have the understanding of those verses. And not only that, because in my job, I mean, I'm always conflicted within me about the right and wrong, the black and white. But even though I do take the liberties that my job affords me to, it's like, ugh. But now I'm liberated from that. So with that, Yahweh be praised.
Yeah, because I think that people need to understand that in business, you still have to be men. And sometimes in business, you do have to engage other areas. Yahweh says, don't go with a furious man. Don't go with an angry man. But in business, people are really weird. We think that in one instance that, okay, well, all right, here's the catch. Let me give y'all one. Can I give y'all one that should make y'all, it's only a few people on here, so nobody will really see this one. And I can just leave it hanging up there, but come back for this one later on. You got people that have said, if the dope boy on the block, I realize the controversy here, y'all, but just listen. If the dope boy on the block and his crew should desire to go straight, the pastors will not accept tithe from them because their hustle was illegal. Now that's what it sounds like on paper. When you write it all out and say, this is what we're due, everything must be about righteousness, yada, 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 right? Mm-hmm. I can't find one pastor that's not going to find a way to accept the tithe from the dope boy who went straight.
That right.
Y'all not talking to me. See, now I'm out here by myself. I'm gonna stop. You know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of being by myself.
You're right. They'll find a way.
Yeah.
They can put it in a washing machine and make it clean.
I'm gonna leave you alone, Daphne, right now. How do you wash the money, child? That's not what it means to wash the money.
Hey, send the bills to dry clean.
Daphne said, throw it in the washer with some Tide and some Gain, and we good. That's good, Daphne. Or, you know, people saying, hey, well, this person robbed the bank 80 years ago and nobody knows he robbed the bank, but he knows he robbed the bank, and God says you shouldn't accept that money. What you gonna do with it? Money is not evil. How you got the money is not how you got the money. If you are in control, your actions are evil. But what happens if you get the money evil? You repent for your sins 30, 40 years later, you go dig it up in the back. What are you going to do with that point? You're going to take it to the authorities? Or the person, they're going to say, hey, listen, I know if I do this, I'm going to be in a whole bunch of trouble. Nobody knows. It'll never be found out. Here is the money, and there is $37 million dropped on your porch by this person that says, hey, we want to donate this to you. Do you really think that those pastors are going to go and say, hey, can y'all check these serial numbers? Can y'all check these serial numbers? We got a bag of bread. Oh, you got a bag of bread. Well, distribute it to I laughed before I got the joke out.
That money going to church.
So the pastor gonna say, hey, Mr. Policeman, someone dropped a bag of bread on our doorstep. Oh, that's wonderful. You guys are the best ones to distribute the bread. You know what? You're right, Mr. Officer, sir. I'm going to distribute the bread. It's a joke, y'all. It's a joke. It's a joke. Y'all. But if you know me about jokes, if it is anywhere near close to funny, you know that there must be truth in order for there to be humor. Daphne, go ahead.
Doreen. I had something similar that happened to me, and the outcome was amazing. I was in a bank, and I was filling out paperwork to deposit. And in the corner, there was a money clip filled with money. I picked it up, took it to the teller. I said, Miss, someone dropped their money clip. She looked at me. She went and got the manager. She said, Miss, there's no name attached to that at all, none whatsoever. How are we to identify that?
Right. And depending on, you know, whether they got cameras in the store or not, the best thing you can do, if I'm in that situation, can I tell y'all what I would do, honestly, y'all?
Apostle, she got the manager.
That's what I'm saying. I heard you. I heard your story. I heard you. The thing that, and I've had this happen. Now, here's what I've done. Just like with Daphne, I have gone in that establishment, gotten the highest authority in that establishment and said, here is what the scenario is. Sometimes I just walk out and let them deal with it, and I know it never made it to whoever lost it. But then there have been times when people have said, as a manager, because if I'm in that boat myself, we put it in what y'all call lost and found. You know, everything in lost and found get found by somebody who didn't lost it, right?
That is true and fine.
Oh, that's hilarious. Y'all know everything. I'm gonna say it again because y'all not gonna mess with me. Everything that ends up in lost and found always get found by somebody who didn't lost it.
Oh my goodness.
I have a story.
Hold on, Geesh, because we can't go to whole stories, but give me a second. I got Doreen in front of you, and then I'm gonna have you, and we're gonna let it go. But here's the catch too. And see, one thing I love about church folk, especially good Christian folk who don't know how to not break the rules, but bend them and push the envelope as far as they can so that it can get done, right? Is that we'll be like, well, It's a blessing from the Lord. Now, my problem is I got one group who will do exactly what Daphne and I did. We'll take it, and then the managers look at me like, "Bro, what you want me to do? I don't even know. We ain't got camera. The cameras we got in here is fake. The only ones that matter is right over this register." Okay, so we have no record of how it got dropped and who dropped it. Where'd you find it? Well, I found it over here in this aisle. I think that aisle that don't work. We got people walking the floor, so if they ain't see it, it ain't got. And the only cameras that really work is over the money, right? So, like, what you want me to say? Well, okay, we'll just leave it here in lost and found in case somebody comes back for it. He's like, all right, we're gonna have a good lunch today. Thank you. You have a good one. Either it's gonna be today or next week, right? So unless there's some identifiable piece on it, that's what happens. Now, do you turn it over? What's the right thing to do? You do the right thing. If there is a lost and found, you do. You leave it with the lost and found. But if them over the lost and found tell you, apparently you lost it, keep walking, because you did the right thing. You went to them and you said, here it is, what you want done. Here it is. This is what lost is like. That's just more stuff for us to take care of. So this is the other part. So now you got the Christian who saw the person drop it, got a real good idea who dropped it. The person drives off in the car because they're stuck in line. Nobody else saw what got dropped, but they did, and they didn't go after the person. They're like, I was in line. I couldn't lose my space in line, so I couldn't get out of line with that being a problem. And then they were gone before, and I couldn't get over there fast enough, and I saw them a great distance. So when I went over there to see if they dropped something of value, I see it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even know who they are, where it went. See, this is what the Bible says: the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. So, hallelujah, Lord, it's just a blessing for the day. Glory to you. Thank you for the transfer, Father. Amen. So we got all these different ways that things get done within who we call ourselves as believers. And there's always fun telling the stories about it, but people can become very offended when they hear me speak, or not me, but when they hear people like me speak about these things with understanding, because we damage ourselves. We damage ourselves so badly trying to do the right thing. And sometimes the right thing we do is not the right thing needed. Make that a quote. Doreen.
Shabbat shalom, Pastor. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you for this these teachings today. But something came to mind as you were talking. I hope I'm speaking in the right context of this. Back in the day, long before credit cards and we had checks and just money. I'm talking in the UK, it was just money all the time and probably checks. And one of the things they used to say is money is a cycle. So as you said, we don't check the numbers, whatever is on the money. So if a criminal decides he's going to spend his money in a shop or whatever, and I may get that money back, it's a cycle. I don't know where that's coming from.
You don't know where that money came from?
No. So that's just that, yeah.
You don't know who got robbed?
No, I don't.
And robbery is not always somebody getting a hit of a lick where someone's getting beat up in the streets for it, right? Robbery could be, listen, I stole money out of my mom's purse when I was a little boy. That money went to the candy man. Technically, that money was stolen.
I wouldn't bring her change back. I thought I was the only one.
Wait a minute, hold up. Mom, are you listening? You're not on here today, are you? Because she'll sneak in and listen for a minute and then tell me about myself later. Okay, so mom, it was a long time ago. I've repented for it. Mom, I'm preaching the gospel today, Mom. Just have mercy on me. I don't remember how much it was.
I think we've all done that.
I don't think I know every last one. Let me
Absolutely.
I'm not thinking that part. Stevie Wonder wrote a song about it. Mama gave you money to go to Sunday school. You trade money for candy after church was through.
Yep. I didn't. So true. I didn't trade my money for that, but yeah. I didn't play that game. I let people strip your butt.
I'm gonna leave it right there. All right. Geesh, what you got?
I hadn't finished, Apostle.
Oh, Doreen, I'm sorry. What you got?
Yes, I also wanted to say in the UK, what happens is this: when they find out that a criminal has massive assets, they take it from them, they lock them up, etc., and then they give that out to charities, or they build a particular shelter. And there was a great debate, and there may still be, those charities thinking, well, should I have that money or not? Because this was taken from a criminal.
The means,
but,
yeah.
Yes, say if they've got a boat, they sell it and cash everything, their houses, their $1 million houses, etc.
Listen,
cash it in.
Listen.
And people debate on that.
Listen, here's my debate. Put that capital in the hands of them who know how to do righteousness. That's another form of redemption. Redeem that money so that the money can be used in a better way than it had been previously used and or gotten. Okay. The issue is who determined who disseminated it once this evil had been collected, not going to be burned. If you really felt that way as a government, burn it. No, they don't do that. Or use it for fighting evil. Use it for helping to fund the police department. Oh, but we have regulations for that.
Yeah, we didn't hear everything. We didn't hear you, Apostle.
I had a phone call?
It just went out for a minute. At least on mine it does.
I ain't never got y'all to ask the question about what was said before. And all of a sudden we talk about money. Now y'all can't hear enough and we want to hear it again. I wish that the word, see, that's how this is what it see. I can give y'all the word all day long and be like, okay, I don't care if I heard you. But to talk about that money, y'all want to know, well, what did you say exactly? What was exactly said? I'm just messing with y'all, having fun. But when it comes to getting that money under that ideal and mindset that says, hey, this money was turned in or confiscated, and so it should go here, it should go there. Fine, put the money into Sidka, put the money into charity, let it go. Well, any church worth its salt is supposed to be a church of Sidka, a church of charity. And there are many, many, many things that can be and should be done. And the point is, who determines who is responsible for the dissemination and for the expensing? So it's a debate that is literally unnecessary. If you really pay attention and all you're getting and get understanding, if you should find something on the road, do you go to the police with it?
No.
Now, today, I recommend you do, because you never know. Back in my days, we would leave stuff set and watch for who we wanted to pick it up. And though it was sitting there hidden in broad daylight, if you picked it up and the person we expected to pick it up didn't pick it up, yeah, you just brought fire into your bosom. So today, if you find a bag on the streets or in a car, take it to the authorities. Here is what I'm going to tell you is going to happen. Once you've done that, if it's a plant, if it's a payment that you might not know about because it's in a nefarious state of being, it's a clandestine move. What you need to do is take it. When you take it to the authorities, they know that that deal is dead. If I'm watching it and I see you pick it up, like, shoot, that's messed up. They got it. And I see them run, tell the police, hey, look, I found this bag, take it to whatever. I know that person didn't mean any harm. I got to do better if I'm doing, my contraband. I got to do better. So it's with the cops. I got to eat that. I'm mad, but that's what it is. Now, if in fact you should find it and it's not connected to anything of that sort, if you take it to the authorities, and I've had this happen, the authorities will tell you come back in 90 days. If we don't have anyone who's claimed it, you can claim it. You found it. People don't like to talk about that. But there are people who live behind that. They go back to find out what's been or not been claimed. I'll talk about that another day. We ain't got time. We got to get on Sabbath. That's right, Dr. Norris. We should. So with those things in mind, we can talk about them another day because Sabbath is approaching us. Children in this world are wiser than the children of light. Because sometimes we, the children of light, think we understand the contracts, think we understand the job description, think we understand the authority, and we really don't. We have an idea, but we don't know all the nuances that give us levity and give us opportunities to do certain things. Like I was telling you guys before about in certain cultures, everybody in the family has a life insurance on them, as can be afforded. But when you try to do it in certain cultures, in certain neighborhoods, in certain homes, they're like, oh, you're trying to kill me or you're going to set me up to be killed. You want money. That's why you got insurance on me and blah, 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 because we've seen things. But at the end of the day, it is such a wise thing to do. As a matter of fact, if you want to be able to fight a great deal of taxation, you find a whole life insurance policy and you draw off of it for your business, for whatever you're trying to do. So it falls into a written out, legislated tax shelter. And you want to wonder how people who don't give their, people that have, shell companies, all that stuff work. You need to learn it. Don't get mad because, they're hiding their money. Hide yours too. There's legal ways to do it. They're just using legal ways to you and your moral code, which is usually skewed. You don't understand that they're hiding it based on legislation written to help them hide it legally. Now, there are those other illegal movements, but there are ways that you have shelters. Learn them. In business, be completely men.
Rogers.
Nope, we're done. Thank you, though. Geesh, what you got?
So one day I was in need of $50 for a pig.
We're not hearing you, love.
Hold on, let me take you. Oh, hold on one second. Let me take my earthing off. Can you hear me now?
Hey, there she is. What you got?
Okay, so one day I was in need. When I was in college. I was in need of money for a book, and it was $50. And I kept praying and asking Yahweh, please, I need the money. I didn't want to ask my mom for it because of pride. I just wanted to do it on my own. So I kept asking, and then I heard, go to the gas station. So I was like, okay, well, I don't really have money to put gas in the car, but I'm going to go to the gas station. So I go to the gas station. I pumped the gas, and I heard, go this way out. So I went that way out, and then I heard, look down on the ground. So I looked down on the ground, and I was like, am I seeing what I'm seeing? And there was a $50 bill on the ground. So like you guys said, I was getting ready to turn it back in. And then I looked at the guy who was working at the little booth at the gas station. I was like, if I turn that in, you know how you just said, usually you wait 90 days and you can come back and get it. He's not even going to report that anybody had returned that in.
Yeah, that's lunch.
Not only that, I heard, that's for you. Don't give that to you. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I scooped it up and drove off. So that was my little. Other than that,
I did it, and I'm still saved. Okay.
Usually, I'm Good Samaritan. I turn everything in. I don't usually keep it, but that day, particular day, I kept hearing his voice. No, that's for you. Take it. So I was like, okay.
And I want to make sure we're all clear on this. I am not telling you guys to do anything illegal when you find something. You should take it directly to the establishment you found it in. You should. That's what you're supposed to do, right? We're using this in humor. but we're not doing away with the morality that is required of a believer. The issue is our morality does not understand the extent to where it breaks. So we use this analogy for that. So with the money thing, y'all getting caught up on it before you think that, oh, they have no character, they have no real, they might got revelation, but they their spirit, this is all wrong. Whatever. Just understand, we're telling you, I got like 18 in my head I want to give y'all, but there are other people's testimonies who've come to me, and then there's some of mine that you don't need to know about. But at the end of the day, the word of Elohim is clear. There's a phrase I want to use, and I'll probably post it later on today. Filter everything you encounter and have to respond to through the word. Facts. The word will guide you. Off rip, you're going to give to Elohim what is due him. Not taxation, not tithing, righteousness. So and we just use some blatant analogies of stuff without any identification and all of that stuff like that. If you're in a place, you turn it in. If you find something on the road, today you will lose your life behind stuff and games that are being played. Turn that into the authorities. If the authorities have it, they will clean it, cleanse it, go through it. Probably some, I can't guarantee it'll all be there when you get back. But if you should go back and they say, hey, here's the case number. If we don't hear anything in 90 days, come on back in 90 and check for this case number. And if it's still sitting here, you can claim it. There's a process for claiming it, and then you are the better for it. We know you got it legally, and the IRS ain't going to bother you either. But most Christians don't even know that. So with that being said, now I have my one last story I'm gonna give y'all. I'm gonna leave y'all. I remember I was in need as well, and I got in a check, and someone had loaned me and my family at a very crucial time $300. I went to the bank, cashed my check for $600. I asked the teller to give me cash and large bills. She gave me $600 bills, the green ones, not these blue ones. This was back in the day, 95, 4, something like that, 96 probably, right? 1996. And so she gives me these bills. I leave the drive-through, and I go to pay back one of the elders in the ministry that actually sowed and blessed me with the money. They knew I had a need, and they said, here, take care of that. When you get a chance, just pay me back. So I got $600 bills. I'm in the drive-through. She counts them, puts them in the thing, and she counts to the window, and I watch her count. So I'm from the casino, so I know how to count money fast. So and I'm in the game, right? So I was saved at this time. So she puts the money in the envelope, puts the envelope in the chute, sends it out to me. I get it, open it, and count it. 6 $100 bills. Put it back in the envelope, put it on my seat, because I'm going to get my children from school, but I'm going to stop and see. I was almost said her name. I almost was going to stop to see one of the elders who blessed us. I get to the place. It's called, we're at the church annex building, and they're preparing for an event and a service. So I go do my part, and then I say, hey, listen, I want to give you back that capital. I then know I had $600. I gave them 3 of those 6, counted them off. She got it, counted off. She's like, thank you. I love you. Pray that it helped. I said, it really did. You have no idea. Thank you. And I got it back to her before it was even due, right? Now, given that $300 out of my $600 check still left me a $300 gap, but that was more important back then to get that 300 then, because it got us through to get here, right? I'll just budget and tighten my belt and do what I got to do. I went to the bathroom in the place and I came back out and I got in my car. I don't know why I picked up the envelope and counted the money again, and there was $400. So I'm thinking I didn't give her 100. So I go back in. I said, Elder, can you count that? Make sure it's counted up 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 300. I said, I only got 6 from the bank, but your 3 plus this 4 makes 7. So let me go back to the bank because I don't want the teller to get in trouble. I go back to the bank and I'm like, hey, I was just here. Yeah, hi. They knew me, right? I said, well, I think you gave me $100 too much. So I send the $400 back up to her. Don't know why, I just did. She says, no. I said, because I know how to audit tills. I said, you might want to get your till audited. Next day, they said, we'll do that. Thank you, Minister, and we'll make sure that we check the till. So I let the manager know, and she let the manager know. They brought him over, and I said, I think it may be off. And the girl's like, I know I counted right. And I say, well, the manager said, send the money back down because her numbers say they're correct. Here it is. Just take that. And if I said, well, will you let me know? Because they know me. I said, will you let me know if the till is off? I'll give the money back. Came back the next day. They balanced out their tills. They balanced out the whole bank's tills. They did an audit because of the actual complaint. I went back the next day. Manager said, no, we did an extensive audit. You must have had money, you must have did something. Our records are straight. I can't explain it. It was on camera. He even pulled the camera. She counted the $600 in the window like she always does, put it in my envelope, pushed it through, and I counted it in my car, and it was $600. If the institution tells me we good, that $100 is mine. I got children's mouths to feed. That's what it is. I got tithe to give. And of course, we paid that forward. So those are the kinds of stories that, we always talk about and give praise for, but just be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. And I'm gonna let this programming go right here and end it now. All right.
That was a really good story. I'm sorry. That was supernatural.
Yeah, that is. It literally was. And as I went back and I talked to the minister, that elder, the next day, I said, I went back down to the bank. They said, yeah, you left here going back down there because you had to get your children. I said, yeah, and the bank closed right before I had to get the children. So I told him the story and I said, yay, Yahweh, God be praised, and it's a supernatural provider. He's a provider. And funnily enough, with the loan that person had given me the week before, it got me through a window then, but to give it out and pay it out that day would have made me literally like about $50 short of what we need mandatorily to live. And it was a tight season in my life. I had $50 left over. I ended up sewing that into the ministry. I'm like, hey, this is what it is. I was able to meet every need I had, did not go into any kind of lack, and we just built from there. So the stories are real. What Yahweh will do when there is a need, he provides for his people in unique ways. But that's a real, true, documented video and accounting trail, receipts, paper trail account of what took place. Well, we're going to let you guys go. Remember, Yahweh is always for you when we do things his way. This Sabbath that you're about to enter into, please consider giving him all of you. Just give him you 24 hours. I promise you, you will experience him and your knowledge of him in a grander and more accurate way. And it may be frustrating at first because we don't always know how to sit still for 24 hours. But Yahweh has it as it needs to be in every possible way. Stay with him, keep Shabbat, and watch Yahweh show out. My job is done here. Welcome to the Proceeding Word, and we're going to be letting you guys go. Thanks for tuning in. We'll chat with you guys soon.
If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken.
Rumble in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope that this message has been a blessing to your very life and your soul, and more importantly, your walk with the King. Well, we have come to the end. I hope that you would consider becoming either a partner with us in ministry, or if you're not already a kingdom citizen, consider becoming one. By doing that, you can sow into this ministry so that we are able to continue to teach this type of ministry at a grand scale. Join us on all of our social media platforms and visit our webpage to make your contributions sure. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Shalom Aleichem.